Hello everyone, it is Mark Berman from TVMI. I am coming to you from the Winter Press Tour in Pasadena, California, and we are brought to you by the sponsorship group for public television. PBS delivers the smart, engaged audience that you need for your brand. SGP TV, the best sponsorship on PBS. It's available at sgptv.org. I am here once again with Jeff Meier, who is the Senior Vice President at getTV. Thank you for joining me again.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to pretend it's the next day, but we haven't changed clothes. We're still sitting here. It's really the same day.
Right.
But we had to kind of cut it in half. So we're talking about your programming, how you program getTV. And, you know, to me, you have a great job. Because I would love, you know, I would assume, or let me ask you, when you're doing your job, and you're coming in, we're now in the middle of January. Do you look at, let's say, the calendar months ahead? You're looking at dates. We have this Valentine's Day. We have this. We have that. Do you try to theme it to various holidays coming up?
Yeah, we try and theme it to various. There's, I think, a couple things that work. Obviously, you want to try and theme it to holidays. But at the same time, everybody's theming it to the same holidays.
Right,
so sometimes it works to kind of go in a different direction.
Sure.
We have done war movies during the month of November, and the way we sort of spin that is a thanks to our troops. So it's a way of taking a theme that you wouldn't necessarily put in that month, but putting it, in there and accessing those viewers who might want something a little bit different. We have not done more movies for Valentine's Day, however, although that might work.
You want something
a
little more romantic for Valentine's Day.
But you also have to see what's out there. I mean, it was very tough for us to. I personally think our audience would love to have a lot of Christmas fare.
Definitely.
But so does everybody's channel's audience, and they've been out buying, up the Christmas movies for years. So there's not that many Christmas movies that we actually can get our hands on. So that's something that you have to actually plan for years ahead of time. Generally, we're planning a couple months ahead. We're hammering in it's January. We're hammering in the final details of March. We plan our bigger themes out further in the year so we can try and lock up the key movies. But all of the rest of the movies that sort of fill in the Wednesday at noon or Saturday at 3 a.m., those we're probably picking about 2 months ahead.
Now, do you compete at all? Well, obviously, you do compete with TCM, which has been doing this for a while. Is there any difference between what you're doing and what they're doing, or it's basically all about classic movies? Any difference on your part?
Well, the first difference is that we're available. Is an availability difference. So we're available to viewers with an antenna, and they're available only to cable. They don't have commercials. We have commercials. Outside of that, they've been doing this for 20 years, and I can only hope that we can get in 10 years to where they've gotten in 20 years. So I don't even compare. I don't even think about comparing ourselves to them because they're just they're the gold standard of this, and we're a year old. I think that we pick movies from roughly the same range. I think that they're doing 30s. I think they're getting into a little bit more modern classics now. They would show a movie from the 80s.
I'm noticing that, actually. I'm noticing that.
We haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet. We try and come up with a few different twists, but I also think that we're going to be open to experimenting. We talked yesterday about this Frank Sinatra Bing Crosby variety show. I'd love to do more sort of things like that and think about how we can delve back into those the past in a different way.
Well, you know what you could do? You know what you could do that nobody does, which would be awesome, speaking as a fan. Let's say, for example, you're running a Judy Garland movie. Maybe you could lead out of it with an episode of the Judy Garland show. That was a variety show that aired, way back when, that no one's ever repeated. You don't see it. There's so many things on television back then. A lot of these big stars, you do a Jimmy Stewart movie, but Jimmy Stewart did a number of TV shows,
and he had a sitcom.
He had a sitcom, The Jimmy Stewart Show, which I watched on Sunday evenings.
Yeah, no, you're barking up the right tree with me.
That would be. I mean, as a fan who loves classic movies, I also love classic television. So that would really be awesome. Now, you have a 1-year anniversary coming up. Are you doing anything special for it?
We are airing the big movie we have that weekend is It Happened One Night. So
I love that movie.
I think it's really
one of my favorites.
Appropriate given our heritage at Columbia Pictures to. I mean, that was their first big Oscar winner.
It was huge. Claudette Colbert.
Yeah.
Clark Gable.
So having that one on is we hadn't been able to show that before, and that's a big occasion for us. One of the things, speaking to your point about the TV product, one of the things that we've found about our viewers, you've got your hardcore movie viewer who really wants to delve into a specific movie period from either the 30s or the 50s, but we also find, especially on our Facebook feed, that a lot of our viewers, and from our fan mail, a lot of our viewers, it doesn't even matter what movie. They want to be transported back in time. And so it's not necessarily about the movies, it's about going back to a time that's simpler. We will get, just as many clicks on a Facebook post that we have that talks about, do you remember going to Howard Johnson's? Or do you remember the Woolworths? Or do you remember rotary phones?
The Automat. Remember the Automat?
Yeah, so we get just as much interest and engagement from that as we do when we post something on Marilyn Monroe. So I find that sort of fascinating, and even thinking about broadly across TV about shows like, American Pickers or Antiques Roadshow or Pawn Stars. I think in an era when the world is moving towards new technology, I think that settling into stuff that's about the past is really sort of warm and fuzzy for people and really makes them feel comfortable. And that's what we try and do.
I totally agree, because when I watch an old movie, I'm transported way back. For example, I watch Rear Window, Hitchcock's classic, every July, without fail, because to me it's a summer movie.
Yeah.
I recently saw the movie you just mentioned with Claudette, It Happened One Night. Love that movie. It's one of my favorites. I watched Picnic with Kim Novak, who you mentioned earlier.
And we love Picnic.
I watch that every Labor Day weekend because it takes place during Labor Day. But where can we find you online if we want information on you? Where do we go?
So we're at www.get.tv.
Right.
Is our website, and then we also have, as I mentioned, an active Facebook feed, so you can look for us there and like us, and you'll start getting that information. And get.tv will also be able to tell you whether you get the channel in your area, whether it's on your local cable system, or whether it's what the channel number is for getting it over the air.
Are fans contacting you, asking for certain movies that they want to see?
They are always asking for certain movies they want to see, and as I mentioned, I don't know all of them, so some of them I have to look up.
Right.
And we do our best. We do our best. It's going to take. I'd love to actually have a viewer request day, but it takes a lot of coordination.
You know what I'd love? As long as we're sitting here, and I'll just make a request. I'd like to see the Road Series with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. If you can get your hands on those, program those. Anything with W.C. Fields. Do a W.C. Fields day, afternoon, evening. I would watch, totally.
I would love to do W.C. Fields.
Totally.
I'll go look for it. Yeah.
My Little Chickadee. The Bank Dick.
Yes, that stuff, we're going way back there.
Now we have to before we leave, I do have to ask you, I know you're a very big Lucy fan.
Yes.
Because obviously I'm a huge Lucy fan. And obviously I like to see a lot of Lucille Ball movies. Do you have a favorite episode of I Love Lucy?
Favorite episode?
Yes.
My favorite episode is the William Holden one.
When they get L.A. at last.
Yes,
right.
And with the putty nose catching on fire. I love that.
Which wasn't supposed to happen. That was a mistake. And she improvised lighting the nose. My favorite episode is when they're on the way to California and they stop off at that little rickety...
the hotel.
That little hotel thing, and the train's going by and the whole room is moving. That's my favorite. But I really want to thank you. I wish you all the best on getTV.
Thank you.
And sounds awesome. Happy 1-year anniversary. Maybe you could join me again for your 2nd-year anniversary, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
We'd love to.
Sounds like a great place.
We read your column every day.
Thank you. Thank you. And I write about getTV thanks to your stellar PR person, Cindy Ronzoni, who is sitting right here. Come show your face, Cindy. Here she is. She's the nicest PR person in the business. She's just good. You know how to get the message out. But anyway, I wish you the best of luck. Happy anniversary. Thank you for joining me. I am Mark Berman. You're Jeff Meier. We're at the Critics Tour, the Winter Critics Tour, and I will see you back on Monday because we have the weekend. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Okay.